my name's Claire and this is Stitch Home Sew. Thank you so much for joining me today for another video. Now today's video is a roundup of everything I made sewing wise in January 2023 and my plans moving forward for February 2023. So if that interests you, please stick around with me today. Now before we get started, I will address a couple of things that are a little bit different in today's video. I'm in a slightly different sewing position filming this. I've had a little bit of a switch around in my sewing space, and so I'm filming at a slightly different angle, so I hope that's okay. And I will perhaps do a little sewing space tour in the next few weeks when I've got everything completely sorted. And also you may notice that I have got a little bit of a mark under my eyes. I had a bit of an accident at the weekend before last, and a DIY accident which resulted in 2 black eyes and a rather large bump to the head. So apologies if you can see that. I've tried to cover it up as best I can, but there's a particularly stubborn bit of bruise under my eye. So hopefully you can ignore that and not focus on that, and we'll talk about the sewing. And I'll go into it perhaps in a little bit more detail in my upcoming Friday Sews video later on in the week. But nothing sinister, nothing to worry about, just what it is. So let's get on with my sewing makes. So I decided to combine my January makes and my February sewing plans this month because I actually didn't make a huge amount of different items in January. I started the month a little bit slow. It took me a couple of weeks after Christmas, 2 or 3 weeks actually after Christmas, to sort of find my sojo again after having quite a bumper time of sewing and also some sort of family illnesses and stuff. So I probably didn't start sewing again until maybe like the 2nd week of January, I think. And one of the things that I really wanted to push forward with this month, and it was on my make 9 because it's been something that I've been rabbiting on about for such a long time and talking about on my Friday Sews, is the Simplicity Parker coat. Now that is the S9052, if I've got that wrong I'll pop it up on the screen, but I'm fairly sure that's right. A Parker style coat jacket that is a unisex pattern, and I was making it for my husband. And I'd spoke on my Friday Sews that actually after moaning about it for a long time in terms of the fact that I hadn't got going with it and needed to and kept putting it on my monthly plans, I finally finished the coat. So all the poppers are on, sleeves are in, the cuffs are in, the little cuff sort of tie backs, hood's on, the hood zips off. You can just sort of see the zip there. It's got 2 pockets up the top, 2 pockets down the bottom. It's got the storm flaps which I've put poppers on. Now the pattern suggests to go with buttons. I went with poppers, and all inside it's got all sort of twill tape down the zip bit. It's really nice. I've added a little hanging loop. I've either double fold turned the seams, or I've French seamed the seams, and then on the inside it's just got like a drawstring cord. Again, you pop some twill tape on. I'm thinking the only change I'm thinking about making to this particular version is changing the cord out on the top and the bottom, just for like a mustardy colour one, just to kind of tie in this hood colour a little bit. Yeah, so really pleased with how this has turned out. The only thing that I've done a little bit wrong is I think I've put those poppers on the hood on the wrong side, because the trying to do some of the storm flap, the poppers go the other way, but my husband hasn't noticed, so I'm not going to tell him. Shh. So yeah, I'm really happy with this. I haven't managed to get any photos with him in it as yet. It is a little bit on the big side, but I'm hoping with the fact that it draws it in, and you know, Parker is supposed to kind of be oversized, but I would say, even though I did the toile, which seemed to be okay, I feel that it's probably about 2 sizes too big for him at least. But never mind. It's been quite the learning experience. I think he will wear it. It's obviously quite a thin, neat jacket, so it's not for this time of year. But as we move into the spring, hopefully he'll get some wear out of it. He better do. This has definitely been the most involved make that I've ever done, but it was very enjoyable. But I have since enjoyed doing a couple of other things, or whilst I was sewing this up, a couple of other sort of more gentle sews, something that's a little bit easier. But yeah, a great pattern. I would definitely recommend it. And hey, if he doesn't wear it, then maybe I will, although it is a little big on me as well. But I'll definitely get some pictures of it on the hanger, so that's better than what I'm showing you here. Hopefully I'll get some pictures of him wearing it as well. So yeah, that was one of my makes for January. Well, my main make for January, the most significant make, and really pleased with that one. So the only other couple of things that I made whilst in the month of January was a couple more of these zipped pouch pockets, which is a pattern by Adam Sews, and I made this one at the sewing social that I went to, that was hosted by the lovely Katherine from Soverton Makery in Hampshire, and we've got another one coming up in February as well, towards the end of February. And so I made that one there. It's this lovely fabric from by Graziella, and then previous to that I'd made this version, which is the large version. So this is the large and this is the medium, and there's actually a small version, but I haven't made that one this time round. Yeah, they're really, this one in particular, really good size for, you know, makeup and various things like that, sewing tools, all sorts of things. And the smaller size I think would be just perfect for like sewing clips and things. So yeah, really pleased with those. So those were the things that I made up in January. So as I say, not huge amounts, but the coat obviously took up a substantial amount of my sewing time through the month of January. As I say, definitely the most involved make I've ever done. So moving on to my sewing plans for February 2023. Obviously we're a little bit into February now, so I need to get a little bit of a wriggle on. I have cut out a couple of the things that I'm wanting to do, so I'm definitely hoping that those ones will get completed, and I've made a start on a couple of things as well. So the first thing that I want to sew up this month is to use some scrap fabrics, some scrap cotton fabrics, just to sew up a little sort of quilted mat that I can put my sewing machine on. I tend to do that. I find it moves around the table easy. You can just sort of slide it around as and when you need to. The one that I had was looking a bit tired, a little bit grubby. I have popped that one in the wash and it has come up okay, but I've got it in my mind now that I want to make some more. And when I was having a bit of a clear out, I found a load of sort of tealy based fabrics that I thought would make a lovely mat for going under my sewing machine. So I'm not following any pattern at all, I'm just going to make it up as I go along. But yeah, I think that will be a nice quick easy win, if you like, and a great way to use up some scrap fabric. Now the next thing that I'm looking to sew up is the Weekender bag by Sew Over It. Now this is kind of what it says on the tin really. It's a hold-all style bag that is sort of a weekend sized, you know, going away for a few days. I do sometimes manage to get a little breakaway with some girlfriends once or twice a year perhaps, and the bag that I've been using for years is somewhat tired and I thought it would be nice to replace it. So I'm looking at sewing up the Weekender bag and I will pop an image in of what that looks like. And the fabric that I'm looking to use is the same fabric that I used for these bags here. So And I'm also looking to change up slightly from the actual design and do a quilted fabric, so it kind of matches these quite nicely. So I'll have to make a few tweaks to the pattern in terms of how it's sewn up, but the general principle of the pattern and the shape of the pattern and everything will be exactly the same, but just a few tweaks here and there just to make it how I want. I will add a couple of sort of slip pockets on the inside because the pattern doesn't include that, and I think that would be useful. And as I say, to do the sort of the quilting style on that. So yeah, this sort of blue fabric for the outside, I will probably use some bias binding, which I'll make in the continuous bias binding method, and I'll use the navy on the inside exactly as I've done on these. So yeah, that's sort of plan number 2. Plan number 3 is a hoodie for my youngest son. I bought some Spidey Friends fabric a little while ago, a week or so ago it arrived, and sort of after his birthday, but it will just be a little belated gift for him. And it's this Spidey Friends French terry fabric that I bought on the D-Stash that I'm going to make the Waves and Wild hot chocolate hoodie, which is a pattern I've made many times before for my sons, and I will pair it with some ribbing. I've actually cut this one out already. This one's ready to go, so hopefully I'll get that one sewn up this week. And as a nice, because it's a nice easy project, it's a tried and true for me, jersey knits, and most of it will be done on the overlocker, just a tiny bit of top stitching round the hood. Other than that, I think all of it is done on the overlocker, so that will be a super quick project, but also quite satisfying after doing longer makes. So yeah, looking forward to that one. The next thing that I am hoping to make is, or one of the things I'm hoping to make, it might not necessarily be next, is a lyra dress, and in this fabric here. This is just a cotton poplin fabric. It's a fairly inexpensive one, but I do really like the design of the fabric. I bought this fabric from, nope, it's gone. Nope, completely can't remember where it was from. I'll pop it up on the screen. And yeah, this was about, I don't know, something like £4 a metre or something. So fairly inexpensive fabric, so that won't be too concerned if it doesn't go quite right. So I guess I'm treating this as a bit of a wearable toile. But I'm very much hoping that it'll work out, at least enough for me to feel comfortable enough to wear it, because I do rather like the fabric. So that's the next plan. The plan after that is to use this boucle fabric. I think it's called a boucle, and it's in this lovely sort of tealy, foresty green kind of colour. And as you know, I absolutely love this colour fabric. And I am looking to sew up a jacket. Now, actually, this is part of something else from my Make 9. So if I get all these things done, I will be powering through with my Make 9, because the Parker coat was on my Make 9, the Weekender bag was on my Make 9, the lyra dress is on my Make 9, and using up this boucle fabric is on my Make 9. I'll pop an image of my Make 9 up. And so I have bought a new pattern to me, and I think it's a pretty new pattern generally actually. It's the Jamila jacket by Sewing Patterns by Mason, and I'll pop an image up of the coat. Now there's 2 different views of this, and I'm doing view B, which is the longer line version, and I think that hopefully it will work out quite nicely in this fabric. I'm hoping to bind the inside edges. In one of the versions that they did, as the, you know, like kind of the promotional pictures had bound edges on the inside, and because it's not a line coat, although there is a blog post I understand that you can do it lined. I'm not going to in this version because the fabric on the inside is soft and nice, but I am thinking of binding the edges, making some continuous bias binding either in this one or in this one, and I'd be really grateful for your sort of feedback. So if we go with, this one is fabric A, this sort of very bright multicoloured one, and this one's got bees on, although by the time you've done the bias binding you won't really be able to see it, but it's got bees and roses on, and I think either version will be quite nice. It kind of picks up tones within it. So yeah, those are the ones I'm thinking that I would probably use, and I'm hoping that I've got enough, because I'd like to use the inside pocket lining, which you won't actually see because of the construction of the coat, but I'll know it's there, as that, and obviously to make some continuous bias binding. So hopefully, you know, whichever one I go for, I've got like 1/2 metre of both, so like 2 fat quarter size pieces I guess of both fabrics. So I need to, hopefully I've got enough to go with one or the other. I haven't quite decided. Let me know what you think about that. So yes, I'm going to go with the longer line version, but you can, there is a version A which is more of a crop style, or kind of waist, not necessarily cropped, but you know, it's a shorter version, and you can sew that one, you know, it's sewn, they've sewn it up in like jeans fabric, or a cotton canvas, or kind of a lighter weight one. So if this one goes well and I like it, then I may well sew this pattern up again as a, you know, more of a summery version too. So I think the pattern hopefully will be quite versatile and hopefully be quite interesting to see, because obviously it's quite a new pattern as far as I'm aware to the market. And yeah, I just think it'd be really nice. It's got a proper shoulder to it rather than being a drop shoulder, which I think will be nice on me. I often find a drop shoulder just kind of adds a bit of bulk and a bit of weight, so I'm hoping this one will work out quite nicely. I mean, I don't know what's going on with me. I've just finished a coat and now I'm looking at another one, but I'm fingers crossed this one will be reasonably easy to do. I'm just going for it. I'm not making a toile. I made a toile for the Parker coat, and you know, like a proper toile that you wouldn't wear rather than it being a wearable toile. And I think that's one of the reasons why it took me so long to sew up the coat, because I already felt like I'd sewn it up, even though I didn't fully complete it and do all the details and everything. I just, yeah, I think it kind of, I don't think I'm a full toile type person. So yeah, that's something else that I am looking at sewing up this month. So those are sort of five plans I think that are kind of really hopefully definite. Now if I find that I have got more time on my hands, maybe a couple of pairs of joggers for my 2 boys. They're forever getting through jogging bottoms. I don't know what boys do to their knees, and just, I don't know, they just manage to trash stuff at, you know, at school and weekends and preschool and things. So yeah, that's something else that if I've got time, then I'll look into that. If not, then maybe I'll do that next month or the month after. So those are all my sewing plans. I hope you enjoyed seeing my January makes and seeing what I'm planning to sew up in the month of February. And I will wish you a very happy week. I hope to see you very soon, but until next time, take care. Happy sewing. Bye bye.